as stunt coordinator, I've wondered how much of the kills was already scripted as opposed to how much were you involved in kind of directing how they were going to be done. Like, um, did they have in the script a syringe in the eyeball and the face boiled off and all that?
It was all on paper.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was all
Someday I'm
predetermined.
gonna put my script on eBay or something, you know.
Yeah,
Got all kinds of scribbles in it and stuff.
so that was all
Yeah, it was all. Yeah, and we talked a little about it, and he said, "This is what we're gonna do," and so I just kind of fell into it and did it the way I wanted to do it. I mean, I didn't change anything really.
Yeah.
Dr. Mixter was sitting with his back to her. She turns him around. She turns him around. She backs into the light, which exposes me. So it was simple. It was really, we didn't do like Jason does. Jason tears things up and, he rips people apart. And there wasn't any of that stuff. There was very little violence, really. It was very subdued. The whole thing, I thought, when I see it now, I say, well, it's like an old TV show. There's really not much to it.
Very much so. You're right. Yeah, a lot left to the imagination, especially compared to the way the films are nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the hardest part of that film? Was it the firewalk at the end?
No, making sure that I didn't run over Jack LeBoyce, who was Bennett Tremor.
Okay.
The way we rigged that, and I had to depend a lot on Jack, and he's a heck of a stunt guy, so I counted on him. I put on the front of the police car, I put a platform, just being the front, the windshield's here.
Mm-hmm.
He had to kind of walk backwards in it just to feel it, that he turns and steps on the platform as the car comes under him, which then thrusts him. He just thrusts himself over the hood. We couldn't do that very fast because if I'd have missed, I'd have creamed him. If it had been off and he'd have stepped down where the platform ended, and it threw him hard telling. So if you notice in that movie, the lights are really going doo, 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 doo. That's because they undercranked the film a little bit, and they sped it up. They shot it at 24 frames, 20, 22 or 23 frames, and then shot it at you see it at 24.
Okay.
And that just makes it go faster. We did that a lot in Herbie, all those Herbie movies with the racing thing. Because that little Volkswagen, even though it had a Porsche motor in it, couldn't keep up with those race cars. Those race cars had to kind of hang back, just like in a horse race, when the one horse is supposed to win, the other guys are looking up really low.
Right.
Oh God, I could outrun this nag. I don't know what. Anyway, yeah. So I didn't want to run over Jack.
Yeah.
So they slowed it down, and that's the way it came out. That's just part of the trick stuff, the trick photography that films are noted for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was the most difficult. Can you tell me a little bit about that firewalk? That's one of the most memorable scenes.
I got my arms singed here, nothing serious. The first time, because we did it twice.
Okay.
We had to do it twice. They rebuilt the set. The first time we came through, how it was constructed, it was the doorway. It had fans. When I say fans, they're about that thick, and they're two pieces of metal put together to form, when they fire, they have the propane attached to them. It comes out in a fan shape. That's what filled the doorway.
Okay.
I'm behind that. They get everything ready. I got the suit on. They put the stuff that we use for burning. I won't go into what it is. And they light me. I mean, they light the fire first with the fans. They light me. Then basically, if there's not enough, when I go through it, there's a lot of fire that does get on me everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, because it was an enclosed top, we shot that on a sound stage. Normally, you're either in a building that's outside and fireproofed, but we did that on a sound stage. And the fire went up and went right out towards the cameras, which is really hairy. It looks great, I think. At that time, it was one of the hottest burns because of the enclosed heat and all that anyone had done. Firestarter was pretty good. I mean, I did a good one in that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that one too, because I know there must have been, and that was filmed here in North Carolina as well.
Yeah, the Hindenburg. We came out of the nose cone like the guys that were escaping in the real Hindenburg thing. We were duplicating that, but it wasn't a very long burn, and it wasn't very far. We went out and turned over and landed in boxes.
Okay.
You know, with the tarps over them. So, yeah, but I've done a number of those things.
By the time you were working on Firestarter, I had the techniques and had it advanced any by then, or was it
almost yearly? Now they have a gel that you can put on, and you don't have to have hardly anything.
Yeah.
You guys still put certain clothing and liquid stuff, and I'm not like Hal Needham. Hal Needham was one of those guys. You ever heard of him?
I don't think so.
Hal is well, that's a long story. Anyway, he was famous for hiding the secrets. Don't tell people how Stunt done and all that stuff. The actors, let them get the credit on the Carson show and whatever. And then when he got a chance after he wrote the movie Hooper and explained all those stunts on screen, with the airbags and the rams and the this and the that, oh yeah, well, it's okay to do that now because it's me that's doing it. See, before that it was hush hush, don't tell him. Yeah. And now after that, stunt wannabes started invading Hollywood. Oh, we know there's nothing dangerous about this. You know, that airbag, you can fall 300 feet into an airbag. Come on. So anyway,
I don't know. I think there's probably still some danger involved in some of those, some of these films, some of these stunts for sure.
Lately, they do everything on cables now. And
well, yeah, now.
You know, you got a cable the size of a pencil, and they just digitally take the cables out.
Yeah.
You put Tom Cruise hanging upside down from a building, or hanging on the side of an airplane, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that can be dangerous. When I did, what is it, Cat from Outer Space? The airplane stuff, turning upside down, hanging from the airplane or whatever. 3 months later, the pilot, who was a famous pilot, Frank Tolman, Mance got killed on the plane when it got stuck in the desert. They tore a plane apart and got one motor and something, flew it. And Phoenix, Flight of the Phoenix is the name of the movie.
Oh yeah, okay.
His partner Paul Mance got killed doing that. He got the plane off all right, but then it crashed and it killed him. Well, Frank, who was really the pilot of the Stearman that I was hanging, getting the kitty and the hanging, you know. I don't know whether you ever saw that movie or not. I didn't. No. There I was doubling Ken Berry.
Okay.
You know, he died. He had a heart attack and flew a plane into a mountain. Neither one of us had parachutes on. He came to me, he said, "You gonna wear a parachute?" I said, "I'm wearing this green jumpsuit. I can't wear a parachute." He said, "Okay, I'm not either." So he said, "If you're gonna go, I'm gonna go with you." But we didn't, and he did later on. And it could have been that day that he had the heart attack.
Oh, man.
And you can't rehearse that stuff. There's no first aid guy up there to, you know, to give you some. I mean, it's just ridiculous sometimes. If it's your destiny, you're gonna go.
Yeah, I guess so.
God's in control, then you're going to go. If he says, "It's time, Dick." So far, like I said, I'm 81 years old and he hasn't called me yet. So I'm real tickled about that.